Hi there, I'm Suranga from English Win. Today we are in total immersion, and today's story is The Soldier's Advice. It's a very beautiful story. You would like it. And shall we go to the story? Yeah, The Soldier's Advice, the story. I'm going to read the story. You can listen to me, you can watch me reading, and you can watch me showing you pictures, definitions, and things like that. Okay. The Soldier's Advice. A soldier was returning home with his wife. A soldier was returning. Returning is coming back, A soldier, the soldier. Yeah. A soldier was returning home with his wife. They were coming home and coming back, So with his wife, soldier and his wife are coming back home. They were crossing a lake in a boat. They were crossing a lake in a boat when suddenly a great storm arose. They were crossing a lake in a boat. They were crossing a lake in a boat. Yes, what is lake? This is the lake. Somebody is crossing the lake in a boat. This is a boat. They are crossing the lake. You understand? They are crossing the lake. They were crossing a lake in a boat when suddenly a great storm arose. Great storm arose. So when they were crossing the lake, a great storm arose. Storm is really a very bad weather. Raining, it's windy, and you know what storm is. But we are going to see what storm and what lake is. Shall we? Lake. What is lake? So, lake. Yeah? Lake. Yeah. Lake. Noun. An area of water surrounded by land. This is an area of water surrounded by land. Now, area of water. This is a very large area of water. An area of water surrounded by land. So, this is lake. So, this is from the dictionary I gave you the other day. I gave you a link of a good dictionary and you can download that. So now we are using that particular dictionary. I'm going to show you how to use sort of English dictionary. Lake. Noun. An area of water surrounded by land. Examples. Let's take a boat out on the lake. Let's take a boat out on the lake. Let's take a boat out. Let's take a boat out. Let's take a boat out. Boat out means going in a boat. A boat ride in a way. Boat out. Let's take a boat out. Let's take lunch. Lunch is noun here. Let's take a boat out. A boat out. A boat out. A trip. Yeah. Let's take a boat out on the lake. We can sail across the lake. Sail across the lake. Yeah. The hotel stands on the shore of a lake. Windermere. The hotel stands on the shore of Lake Windermere. You know what shore? Seashore. This shore is of lake. So whatever it is, you understand what lake is. Next thing, storm. This is a storm. Yeah. When they were crossing the lake, they suddenly a storm arose, they say. This is the storm. What is storm? Storm is the same dictionary. High wind and very bad weather. High wind and very bad weather. If you have storm, you should know that it is really, really windy and strong winds and bad weather. Several ships got into difficulties in the storm. Several ships got into difficulties in the storm. Yeah. Ships faced a lot of problems in the storm. How many trees were blown down in the last night's storm? So, yeah. How many trees were blown down? Blow, what is blow? Blow. Blown down means this is blowing. I blow. Blow down. Blowing down. Yeah, blow down. You understand, right? How many trees were blown down in the last night's storm? Yeah. So far the story is A soldier was returning home with his wife. They were crossing a lake in a boat when suddenly a great storm arose. Now, when they were coming, there was a storm. Arose means arise. Suddenly come up. Suddenly start happening. That is, arose. The man was calm. Soldier was really calm. When the storm prevailed, when the storm started doing the destruction, doing everything, the man was very calm and quiet like this. He didn't worry about that, the soldier. The man was calm and quiet, but the woman was trembling. Woman was trembling. Trembling. Shall you see what trembling is? Yeah. Trembling. Tremble. Bill. Not bal. The sound is tremble. Tremble. Maybe there should be a pronunciation without this guy, I think. I feel that. Tremble. Tremble or tremble. Verb. To shake because you are cold or afraid. You shake. Why? You are cold or afraid? Afraid. That is trembling. You understand what's trembling. Or worried. You're worried. Because you are cold, afraid or worried by something, for some reason. So that is trembling. You understand trembling. She was trembling with cold. Yeah, at Nuvarelia, I tremble at the thought of how much the meal will cost. I go to 5-star hotel and I happen to do that, right? So then I have to pay the bill. I was trembling. Oh, paying the bill, right? Thinking about paying the bill. I tremble at the thought of how much the meal will cost. Now you understand what trembling is. The man was calm and quiet, but the woman was trembling. She asked, "Are you not afraid?" She asked, "Are you not afraid?" Afraid? Yeah. Are you not afraid? What is afraid? Afraid is afraid. What is afraid? There are two ways that we use the word afraid. Afraid. First one is an adjective. Yeah. Both are, yeah. Adjective. Frightened of something or someone. Frightened of someone or something. I'm afraid of snakes. Yeah. I'm afraid of snakes. He's too afraid to climb the ladder. Ladder, you know what ladder? Ladder. You know what ladder is? Snake and ladder. The game ladder. He is too afraid to climb the ladder. Another way is this is the meaning in the story, afraid. That is, so frightened of, afraid. But another meaning of afraid is to be afraid that, to be sorry to say. When we say, I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry to say this, then we can use I'm afraid. For example, I'm afraid that all the cakes have been sold. I'm afraid. The hotel man says, cake man says, cake seller, I'm afraid that all the cake have been sold. He says that I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry to say, all the cakes sold. You can see the boss. I'm afraid he is ill. You can't see the boss. I'm afraid he is ill. I'm sorry to say he is ill. I'm afraid he is ill. I'm sorry to say he is ill. Have you got a pocket calculator? No, I'm afraid. No, I'm afraid not. No, I'm afraid not. I'm sorry to say I don't have. That is, I'm sorry to say, another meaning. But here, this is the thing that we need. Are you not afraid? She asks from the sailor, from the soldier. Yeah. We may not survive this storm. Survive this storm. Survive means living without dying. In a trouble, in an accident or something. So we meet with an accident, a very bad accident, but we still live. So we survived. Survive means living without dying. So we may not survive this storm. The soldier laughed. She says, "Oh, are you not afraid? We may not survive this storm. Oh, we won't be able to live," she says. The soldier laughed. Soldier laughed amidst the storm. That the storm is there, but soldier laughed. The soldier laughed and took out his sword from the sheath. The soldier laughed and took out his sword from its sheath. Soldier laughed and took out the sword from its sheath. This is the sword. This is the sheath. The covering or the cover. That is what we call sheath. This is sword. Sheath is something that we use to protect something. We have to protect the blade of this sword, so we use a sheath. And also it will harm us otherwise. When we have sword here, we will cut ourselves. So that is the reason why we have sheath. So the soldier laughed and took out his sword and from its sheath. He brought the naked sword. What is naked sword? Naked, you understand naked? Basically, we use naked being without clothes. Small kids and they are naked at times, naked. Naked means no clothes. So here, what do you mean by naked naked, what do we call this? Sword. Naked sword is, it has no sheath. It has come out. That is naked. The soldier laughed and took out his sword from its sheath. He brought the naked sword close to the woman's neck. He brought the tip of the sword to the woman's neck, very close to, not touching. Is it clear? Yeah. The soldier laughed and took out his sword from its sheath. He brought the naked sword close to the woman's neck. So almost touching her neck. Almost touching her neck. What is not touching her neck? Almost touching her neck. Now, for example, somebody shoot me. Shoom. But somehow I managed to survive. Somehow I managed to live without dying. I survived. Then I run home and I would say, when coming home, I would say, "Oh, he almost killed me." Did he kill me? No. He almost killed me. He nearly killed me. Almost means basically nearly. He nearly killed me. So the soldier laughed and took out his sword from its sheath. He brought the naked sword close to the woman's neck, so that just a small gap was there, very small gap was, not a large gap, small gap was there. He brought the naked sword close to the woman's neck, so close that just a small gap was there. It was almost touching her neck. It was almost touching her neck. Whose neck? His wife's neck. The trembling woman. Yeah. She was trembling. And it was almost touching her neck. He asked. Then he asked, "Are you afraid?" Placing the sword on her neck, nearly touching the neck, not touching, really touching the neck, nearly touching the neck. And he asked, "Are you afraid?" She asked the woman, "Are you afraid?" His husband, "Are you afraid?" He asked. She started laughing. The trembling lady started laughing. She started laughing. Why? He asked, putting sword onto her neck. He asked, "Are you afraid? Are you afraid?" She started. Why? He asked, "Are you afraid?" She started laughing and said, "If the sword is in your hands," it's a very important phrase here. In your hands. It's really important when we when we talk about things. That part is really important. In your hands. Nice thing. Are you afraid? She started laughing and said, "If the sword is in your hands," in your hand means not actually in hands. It is in your control, under your control. The sword is under your control. You can control the sword. That is what she says. So, it is under control of my husband. The sword is under the control of my husband. When it is in your hands, when it is in your hand, you can control it. Yeah. It was almost touching her neck. He asked, "Are you afraid?" She started laughing and said, "If the sword is in your hands, why should I be afraid?" Now the sword is in your hands. A total control. You can control the sword. It is under your supervision. So why should I be afraid? I'm not afraid, she says. I'm not afraid because sword is in your hands. I think you understand. If the sword is in your hands, why should I be afraid? Why should I? Why should I? Why should I? Hey, come to the party this evening. Why should I? I don't like that guy. Why should I? We can use that. I know you love me. Why should I be afraid? I know you love me, she says. I know you love me and will never harm me. You will never harm me. You will never kill me. I know that. You love me and the sword is in your hands. I know you love me and will never harm me. He put the sword back. He put the sword back and said, "This is my answer." She asked a question. What is the question? Are you not afraid? She asked first. Are you not afraid? Then he says, "This is my answer to that question. I know you love me and will never harm me." He put the sword back and said, "This is my answer. This is my answer. I know God loves me. This is my answer. I know God loves me. And the storm is in his hands." And the storm, that's gushing, bushum, bushum. And the storm is in whose hands? In God's hands. Under the control of God. God controls the storm. As the sword is in my hand, you are not afraid. So as the storm is in the God's hand, I'm not afraid. He put the sword back and said, "This is my answer. I know God loves me and the storm is in his hands." Yeah, this is my answer. I know God loves me and the storm is in his hands. I know God loves me. You said, "I love you," just like I say, I know God loves me and the storm is in God's hands, in his hands. So whatever is going to happen is going to be good. Whatever is happening, whatever is going to happen, if something is going to happen in the near future, within next few minutes, if something is going to happen, whatever is going to happen, it's okay, no problem. So whatever is going to happen is going to be good. It will be good. He cannot do anything wrong. The good cannot do anything wrong. Moral is the message. Always have faith. Always have faith. Story is really nice, I think. You learned something. So, I think by now, a good number of people have realized, understood that the spoken part comes through total English. total immersion. Not only spoken part, the ability of making, ability of constructing sentences and everything comes through total immersion. So if you try to watch programs or total immersion, you will improve that. Most of the people say so. The comments, you can see the comments. You just go to my comments, not my comments, my subscribers' comments. You can see all these things. You just read the comments. Okay, subscribe, give us the like, press the bell icon so that you will have my videos, and yeah, share. Bye.